Ode on the Intimation of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood. This is one of the most remarkable poems of William Wordsworth. And this poem is considered to be one of the significant contributions in English literature. And today I would like to talk about this poem. This poem is based on pre-existence or prenatal theory. This theory was, found to be reflected in different religions, and it is definitely believed that human beings come from Almighty, and as human beings come from Almighty, and therefore in the early childhood, human beings have the connections with the divine light or divine atmosphere, and metaphysical poets had also focused on this prenatal or pre-existence theory. William Wordsworth had attempted to write or compose poems based on that pre-existence theory. And Immortality Ode is a poem based on that theory. And as this poem is based on this pre-existence theory, William Wordsworth has expressed in this poem that a child is more connected with Almighty, and therefore a child could see the divine light prevalent in the objects of nature. Whenever William Wordsworth was a child, William Wordsworth also could see the divine light prevalent in the objects of nature. But as long as William Wordsworth is growing, he has lost that power of divinity, and he could not see the divine light in the objects of nature. As he could not find the divine light in the objects of nature, and therefore initially he has become very much sad because of this loss of divinity from his eyesight. But whenever William Wordsworth is thinking about the loss of this divinity, divine light or celestial light, heavenly light in the objects of nature, still there were the heavenly light in the objects of nature, definitely. Because a child, even in that time, whenever William Wordsworth could not see the light, a child could see the light. A child can see the divine light everywhere in the objects of nature. So it doesn't mean that the divine light has been vanished from the objects of nature. Rather, it is vanished from the eyesight of the poet. It is vanished from the grown-up person, because a grown-up person imitates the life around him. And he imitates the life of the businessman, he imitates the life of the lover, he imitates the life of, quarrelsome person, he imitates the life of the materialistic person. As a person is imitating the materialistic life, and therefore it is not possible for him to see the divine light in the objects of nature, because there is a contradiction between divinity and materialism. And, but a child doesn't care for materialism. A child only cares for the beautiful objects around him. And as a child, had just come from Almighty, he has fresh connections with the divine aroma. And that is the, positive things in the life of the childhood. And therefore we have found the idealization or the glorification of childhood in this poem, definitely. And here the child is considered to be a seer blessed, a blessed seer, a blessed foreseer, a blessed diviner actually. And but very unfortunately or very naturally, a child imitates the grown-up people. And because of the imitation of the grown-up people, which is very much natural, with the passage of time, a child had lost or has lost that divine light. But the poet initially, has become very much frustrated because of the loss of the divine light. But he has got the compensation, and he has got the compensation in this sense that whenever he has grown up, then he could understand that he had lost the divine divinity, and he could express this philosophy to all the people around him, and a poet could express the philosophy of losing, the divine light around the objects of nature, and he also could focus that definitely there is the divine light around nature in the objects of nature. And then the grown up, as a grown up person, a poet could express these things in his poems or in his philosophies, in his expressions, which a child cannot do. That is the compensation. That is the compensation of the loss of the divinity. And another compensation is that during the grown-up age, a grown-up person can express the philosophy in the objects of nature. Can find the philosophy in the objects of nature. Then objects of nature could be a source of philosophical thought. That is definitely a great compensation for the loss of the childhood. So the compensation that a poet or that a grown-up person could get in the matured age is not less important in comparison to the loss that he had to face. And that is why the poet could think that he has got the heart, and that heart is very much significant, important. Because of the heart, a poet could feel the loss of everything. A poet could feel the beauty of the nature. A poet could feel the presence of Almighty in the objects of nature. A poet could feel the significance of the objects in nature. And if we make a comparison between the Tinton Abbey and Ode on the Intimation of Immortality, then we will find the same type of philosophies to be reflected in both these poems, and that is the presence of Almighty in the objects of nature. The presence of Almighty in the objects of nature is known as pantheism, and Wordsworth is considered to be a poet of pantheism, and pantheism is reflected in both the poem Intimation of Immortality, Ode on the Intimation of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood, and also from Tinton Abbey. And so both the poems are very much significant enough to focus on the theory of pantheism, and I hope you will understand the main contents of the poem Intimation of Immortality Ode, and it will be very much helpful for you to get preparation on this poem. And in my next lectures, I will try my level best to discuss these two poems line by line, which will be more beneficial to all of you. Thanks to all of you for your patient hearing to my lecture.